Good morning, Per. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Maciek. Feeling great. How
How
are
is,
you?
how is life? It's great to meet finally somebody from Europe. For most of the discussions that I have, I'm usually talking to the people on the other side of the ocean, and this is morning in Europe, and we can finally have a chat.
Thank you. And I share the same. It feels like more things are cooking in the US than in Europe, but let's change that.
Absolutely, yes. So my name is Maciek Szczesniak. For 25 years, people were calling me Magic because that's what I call myself. Go with Magic, right? I encourage people to that we go together, change a couple of things. That we are both, Per and I, we are both ambassadors or executives on the Ultimate Partner Experience platform. We've met over there through the networking events. And we have one big idea on our mind, Per, right?
Yes. Yes, indeed.
We
Let's
want to
make
we
a
want to
change.
help the legacy VARs to transition to the business model that we believe is much better for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is boring and not so profitable just being a reseller, selling hours or selling products. It is time to become something more modern that is more future proof. So that's our charter, Magic. I love it.
I think you obviously come from the Microsoft side, correct? Maybe you would like to introduce yourself and tell people a little bit about yourself, especially to the audience from my side that might not know you extremely well.
Yeah. So I started out as a reseller, selling Apple computers, selling Windows compatible computers. And then I pretty soon realized that, wow, it was better to rent them out, to rent out complete networks. And by that time, it was based on Novell Network. And then I saw the light when Microsoft ramped up their ambitions around networking. And I switched to Microsoft and I switched to software and not hardware. And that has been a nice journey. So I used to have some hair, but now I don't. So I've been part of this for quite some time.
Thanks for saying that. I think you've made the transition in the right moment. Over the last so many years, I've been working with Compaq HP and HPE. I came across many channel partners. I've been always an executive focus on the channel, very channel friendly. When I left HPE, I realized, or actually even before leaving HPE, I've noticed that a lot of resellers were kind of disappearing from the market, and I wasn't sure where the problem is coming from. And I discovered that simply the typical margins in the reseller business, the typical profitability of a reseller is becoming under a big pressure. So I think you've made the right choice of switching over from the kind of a reseller and a VAR setup to an MSP. Was it difficult for you?
Well, it took some time, and the transition was sometimes painful. We started out at the turn of the millennium selling managed services, and then we added our own service desk to put it all together. We monitored networks, we monitored firewalls, and we monitored end user devices. And then we started with hosting. We started with hosting, which was kind of popular before the cloud. And we built our own, I would say, mini cloud with multiple data centers. And we had customers worldwide. And that was a little bit before Azure really took off. But we were the early pioneers with Azure in a hosted data center. And that was a wonderful journey. We learned a lot. And the margins were pretty good. And we could sleep well at night because we knew what the revenue would be next month. So it was great times. And I made an industry exit. I sold to a large VAR hardware vendor and a little bit of software vendor in Northern Europe. And After that, I've been evangelizing how to make it happen, and evangelizing that you need to work together with partners to make success, because that is a belief of me, that you need to work with others, specialized partners, pooling together, doing something great for the customer.
You made a change because of a vision. I have seen so many partners, a number of partners that haven't made the choice or the change to the MSP model because they believe it's a very difficult process. And the pressure is there from the financial point of view, because hardware resale is getting less and less profitable. More and more companies are switching their business model to the as a service business model. Uh, and I had a number of conversations with people that told me that switching over from the VAR to MSP is a very difficult journey. Do you have any experience? Why is it so?
Well, first of all, I think that a key thing that you just said is as a service. You need to think as a service. And there are a lot of things that you can combine with a service and some piece of hardware. And then you can rent it out month by month. And it is both a financial thing and also a managed services thing, a package. I would say that the financial burden is big when you make the transition, but you make it gradually. You don't make it overnight. You have the right cash flow, hopefully, from your legacy business, and then you make the transition. But you need to make some bold decisions. You need to stop investing in your legacy business and only invest in your more modern business. And that means that some people are no longer needed. Some new people will be needed. On the sales side, my experience is that people that are used to selling projects or selling hardware, being transaction based, are seldom the right people for selling recurring revenue services. Some people will make the change, but others will not.
So the ideal situation is you either invest in training of your organization, or you hire the people that have maybe a different mindset, that have a mindset more away from a transactional approach all the way to an as a service approach. That's your point of
Yes,
view?
absolutely. But you need to have a conversation with your existing people, asking them if they are motivated, and you can help them with motivation by changing the compensation models. Because standard compensation models is that you get a slice of the revenue and profit when you sell a project. But when you sell a recurring services, when you sell a recurring revenue service, the revenue will come in month by month, and it might take several years. So if you compensate your people month by month, that is less good than giving them a nice upfront compensation. So that is the way to make people motivated. Of course, they need to believe in the services, they need to believe in the business idea, but they need food on the table, and you need to bring the compensation up front to them. That is super important. Then you can give a little bit of compensation when customers are happy and customers are renewing. But the bulk of the compensation should be upfront.
Okay. Well, I think it's a very valid point, because I've seen this transition. Basically, I've seen partners struggling, and I've heard several stories about partners that either were successful or they were not successful, and they had to divert to a different strategy. Some of them decided to purchase another MSP. Some other partners decided to spin off a separate company that will become an MSP, so they can basically transition the knowledge and the financial model over to this new entity. I'm still looking for a very successful partner that made the whole company completely transition into an MSP model. But I believe this is possible. I just think that it takes a little bit of attitude, a little bit of a financial strength, good support and a good recommendation, good advisory from either peers in your organization or in your network, in the ecosystem or smart people that have seen the transition done already. I know that you have, and I know a couple of other people that have seen this kind of a concept being implemented successfully. Is every MSP the same?
No, they come in multiple colors, multiple flavors. So I would say that this is important. You need to find your own path to become a successful MSP, because you don't want to be a standard MSP that competes with everyone else. You need to find your mojo. So you need to think about, will you be specialized in a certain vertical? Will you be specialized in just supporting resources in the cloud, or will you be supporting on site? Will you be supporting hybrid scenarios? So you need to think about, how is your future as an MSP going to look like?
And I totally agree with you, because I've seen some programs out there that are being advertised as a kind of a go-to programs for the transition to the MSP model. But the challenge and the kind of a doubt that I have in my mind is that they look to be extremely like, if you follow this path, you're gonna be there, right? And that is producing maybe hundreds of companies that don't really differentiate between themselves. I do believe that there is a individual path for each and every partner, individual challenges that each and every company has, and it cannot be just tackled by attending a couple of webinars and deploying a couple of standardized services across the board of the organization. I mean, maybe it will work for a short period of time, but unless you can take your legacy and your challenges and turn them into your strengths and a new business model, I don't think you are building a successful, sustainable company for the future.
No, and you don't want to be the 10th Ford dealer on the same street. You need to be something special so that people stop by your shop and they enjoy your services because they think that your services are different than others. So that is the way to make it happen. So no size fits everyone. It is important to make sure that you find your own mojo. And this is a journey. And you need to bring all the bright people in your company in that conversation and discuss, what can you do? And you probably need some external advice as well, because people like you and me, we have met several partners. We have met several that have made a journey successfully. And there are others just like us that can help. But you probably need some influence from the outside. Otherwise, you might still be that legacy VAR until death.
I think you just need. I just think that you simply need an independent point of view. Okay, it's the knowledge and it's the experience. Yes, I believe so. But you also need this kind of a extra pair of smart eyes that will look at the situation without the bias, without emotional attachment, and really give a very honest and open feedback about what will work and what will present significant challenges. Because I can understand that a lot of owners of the VARs are personally, emotionally attached to their business, and it's very difficult. We have this tendency to like what we do and to appreciate what we do more and not see the many flaws in how we run the business. So an extra pair of eyes that will analyze and understand and deep dive into your operations and point out the challenges that need to be overcome. Okay, it's not about trashing your company. It's not about telling you that you are all bad, because you've been doing a business for many years and you are a successful, smart guy. But where are the areas that require a transition? Okay, it's going to be super, super important in my opinion, because I think Per and I will agree that yes, each and every MSP is different, but there are certain similar success factors or success criteria that will define an MSP that is sustainable and built for a long success versus the ones that are maybe a short-term, a short-term success that doesn't, that will require a major overhaul in a couple of years. What are the successful characteristics of MSP, Per?
So when I sold my company 8 years ago, we were the MSP and hosting provider in Scandinavia with the highest margin. And one of the reasons was that we found our own path for doing things. But it is important that it shouldn't be led by technology. It should be led by sales and marketing. You need to look at what is the right portfolio of services for your customers. And then you find a way to deliver those services with stellar quality and also a decent margin. And that means that you need to have an industrialized approach. That is super important. So I love technology, I love technical people, but they shouldn't influence business strategy.
That I very much agree, because again, there is this tendency of, maybe focusing on one type of technology or one type of a customer. And I actually believe, Per, that the successful MSP is going to have more than one kind of area of focus, like more than one, I don't know, maybe specialization, okay, just to make sure that you can build on more than one leg, that you're more stable as a company, that you have more than one very large customer, because I've seen partners that were relying on, one extremely large customer. When this customer would stop buying, they would basically quickly lose their business. There is a question of innovation within the organization. How innovative you are. Are you following the trends? Are you a follower? Are you the trend setter? Maybe in the organization. I mean, you've been extremely successful spotting the trend of VARs moving to MSP and executing that for your organization ahead of everybody else, which made you successful financially. I think there's more than just the profit margin that is going to determine whether the percentage of a recurring revenue is super important. The level of automation that you can put in your organization is extremely important, because the more products and offers, not products, the more offers that you have, the more services that you sell, the more customers that you support, the more standardization and automation that you can put in your organization in areas that make sense. Okay, standardize what makes sense, differentiate where you can deliver the value. That's the characteristics and the success factors for the sustainable managed service provider of the future, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And you touched a few points there. Automation is super important. And this is the economies of scale. You need a large volume. And when you build a large volume, you need to make sure that you handle that volume, not the bespoke way, but in an industrialized way, so that you gain efficiencies. And then no customer wants to pay a premium. So make sure that you are smart on the cost side, so that your price to the customer is competitive. And that means that you need to build volume. Build volume, but make sure that you can handle that additional volume with maintaining the quality, but also maintaining the cost base.
I think that's going to be super important. Obviously, between the cost and the revenue, there's a margin that is going to make your company run, and also allow for future investment, to future changes and future innovation in the organization. But I totally agree. Diversification of the customers, diversification of the sources of income, different offers, right? Automation and standardization. And I think one more thing, Per, that we shouldn't be forgetting about. I think the MSP community has a very interesting characteristics of being extremely focused on partnerships, not one partnership, but partnerships, which means connecting with others in the industry to kind of collaborate and create a bit of a healthy competition, what we call a competition, which is a mixture between the competition and collaboration, right? So partnership, I think, is extremely important if you want to be successful MSP.
I agree. And a great example is if you are locally based with your MSP business, that you might both partner with an MSP in another geography so that you can take on larger customers together. But also, there's less fear about sharing knowledge when you are so much apart geographically. So find an MSP buddy and make sure that you open up the kimono and that you share, and they will share the same to you, and together you will be even more successful, I believe.
I think there's those two, and there's the third dimension. I think you said, geographical disparity helps, because then you can kind of connect with people that might have a different experience, but work in a different market, so they are not competing with you. But I think also partnering with MSPs that offer different type of services can be extremely powerful for you, because together then you can tackle customers from different angles. Okay, some of them will, there will be some standard services, okay, but some MSPs will choose to specialize in security, for example, okay, and they might partner with someone that offers maybe a maintenance, okay, or maybe there are some other dimensions that people can partner to provide the customers with an end-to-end opportunities, and also better understand the customers together. I think one of the pretty interesting presentation I attended some time ago was from our good friend Jay McBain, who says that right now there are up to 7 companies influencing your customers at the same time from different angles. Imagine if you can build a successful partnership of those 7 companies collaborating with each other, and kind of building a resilient support for the customer. That is something that is very, very difficult to overcome.
Yeah, and if the customer feels that they are doing business with a group of companies that act together for the well-being of the customer, well, that is great. The customer will love it, and they will recommend it to others. And it also gain efficiencies for these 7 companies. And who knows, they might get an appetite for finding more customers together. So working together, and not be greedy. Don't think that all 7 need to be part of the transactions. Instead, make sure that everyone is happy, everyone gets business. That is the way for the future, I believe. And
Yeah, especially that the MSP model is extremely prevalent in the segment of the market that I am extremely interested in, which is the small and medium businesses. And people do forget that we have about 350 to 400 million small and medium businesses globally. In the US alone, there are 33 million small and medium businesses, and that means that, and most of them are not digitally savvy. So the amount of opportunities out there for you to go and partner with others, and to automate and standardize offerings, address thousands and thousands and millions of customers, it's just amazing. And geographical kind of connections help, because you learn from others about how to approach maybe a different type of places, different type of customers. The partnership with specialists in other industries, specialists in other offerings, that all builds your capability and your resilience in the entire ecosystem. And I think the era of ecosystems is coming. It's finally coming to become a standard thing. So partnering is super important in this space. That's why Per and we decided to join Vince Menzione on the Ultimate Partner Experience platform. And this is where we start offering our support and services and recommendations and advice. What else can we offer people, Per?
So we can give legacy VARs the path for the future. We can sit down with them, analyze, assess where they are, determine where they want to go, and together walk the path, make the journey to something more successful, more resilient. So that is something that we can do. And the 2 of us, we have great experience from Europe, both Western, Central, Eastern, but also North America and Latin America. So and a little bit of Asia as well.
Asia as
But
well. Yes.
yeah,
India, Japan, Singapore, those are areas where I had a lot of good connections. I made a lot of good connections. However, I need to say that, Per, and this is, we both Europeans, so I think we can admit that US made the switch or the transition to the MSP model much faster than other geographies. So there's something that we can learn from our US friends, okay, both from the VARs, but also from the various consulting companies. So I'm personally very happy that we are working very closely with Vince, because he obviously has a lot of experience, and there are many other experts, ambassadors, and executives on the platform that are there to also share the knowledge and experience with us and with anybody that might want to join the platform.
Yeah, the Ultimate Partner Experience has been going on for a few months, and it's already shown success. And meeting great people like you, Maciek, and others, that is what makes the world going. So
Yeah.
Vince Mansione and Ultimate Partner Experience, that's a lovely platform for making more business together.
So what we promised to you guys watching this this webinar, this kind of a conversation, is that we will come back to you on a regular basis with some maybe recommendations and tips and ideas. Feel free to reach out to us on the scanning the QR codes, kind of connecting with us on LinkedIn. We're more than happy to refer you to the right people or to offer our services and help you on the journey, because it's a journey worth doing, moving from a VAR to MSP.
And it's a wonderful journey. Well said, Maciek.
Thank you so much, Per, for the conversation.
Thank
Hopefully
you.
speak to you soon. Thank you.